Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh!, where I, Riku, play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! On Dueling Book Ranked. Today, we are playing Sky Striker. Sky Striker is one of my personal favorite decks. It was my first introduction to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back in 2019, and as such, holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember tinkering with that deck for hours on end, every day, for months, when I was first getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! For those of you who don't know, Sky Striker is a spell-based control deck. It is a hard control deck. It utilizes the powerful Sky Striker Mecha and Sky Striker Mobilize spells to interact with your opponent, accrue card advantage, and, grind your way through the game. The deck cares pretty deeply about the number of spells in your graveyard. It wants you to get 2 and above the threshold of 3 spells in your graveyard in order to unlock bonus effects. Engage draws you a card, Widow Anchor lets you steal a card, Shark Cannon lets you steal a card, Afterburners lets you pop a back row, and Azalea doesn't kill herself. The deck famously boasts a really low floor, but an insanely high skill ceiling. Pilots like Raye and you routinely do well with the deck, even when nobody else is bothering to pilot it at all. You're rewarded with small points of advantage for interacting correctly, and punished massively for even the smallest of mistakes. The deck cares very much about trading 1-for-1, getting 2-for-1s where you can, and making sure that you're staying just barely on top of what your opponent is doing the entire time you're playing the game. As such, it's pretty skill intensive, it uses a lot of brain power, it's not the easiest thing to pilot for long periods of time, but it is super rewarding to play once you get good at it. I'm not very good at the deck at the moment. It's been nearly a year since I last played it with any consistency, and I'm not as familiar with the meta as one really should be for playing Sky Striker. I, as was evident in the last video, have no idea what a couple of the top decks in the format do. I don't really know what I'm doing playing Striker, but we're going to try and get our way through 3 matches and figure things out as we go. So, because of this, the list you see in front of you is a modified version of the second place list Raye and you played back when Snake Eyes was the best deck in the room. The main points of interest in this deck are the triple Upstart, the triple Desires, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, and the one-off Imperm. Upstart is there because it cycles for basically free. You care a lot about having 3 spells in your graveyard, and Upstart Goblin just shrinks the size of your deck down by 1 card and puts a spell in your graveyard. And as you can see, we're really not playing that many hand traps for it to be a feels bad to have in your opening hand. And the 1,000 life points, as usual, don't really matter. Sky Striker does care a little bit more about that, but with the powerful OTK tools we have in Linkage and Access Code Talker, it's not nearly as relevant as it once was. Desires is there because, once again, it's a spell, and we really just don't care about our one-offs, for the most part. And card advantage is everything to this deck. Getting just that extra +1 can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game. And that's true for just about everything. You basically only ever want to use Engage when you have 3 spells in your graveyard, or when you have no other choice. Cosmic is there so you don't lose super hard to anti-spell or other floodgates, and is a versatile answer to the bevy of powerful field spells in the format. Ryzeal has a super powerful field spell, we saw Memento has a field spell. There's a bunch of spell cards that are important for decks to have access to, and putting them in the graveyard is just not as effective as banishing them. And as for the one-off Imperm, I couldn't tell you. That's a hold-off from the Raye and you list. I'm assuming it's there just to be an extra point of interaction. It's functionally a 4th copy of Widow Anchor in many circumstances. The side deck is, once again, pretty standard. We've got our 3 Lancia to beat Maliss, 3 Shared Ride because our own card advantage should generally have higher quality than our opponents, and we can't really afford to play Mistaken or Rest because we need to be accruing card advantage on our own turn. A lot of our own cards tutor or draw extra cards, do stuff like that. We've got 2 different dimension ground to beat Mitsurugi, we've got 3-dimensional barrier to beat everything not named Maliss, 3 impulse to beat Memento and other decks that use activated effects to special summon monsters, and 1 off Mischief of the Gnomes to find off of our triple tactics thrust to beat Ryzeal. The extra is not particularly notable. We've got 3 each of the important names, 3 Hayate, 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, 1 each of Azalea, Kaina, and Zeke. Azalea, Kaina, and Zeke each have their own circumstances in which they're useful. Kaina staving off a deadly attack from something like an access code talker. Azalea is removal. Zeke is removal and can kind of get large. And then we've got a few other cards. 1 SP, 1 access code, 1 Typhon. SP is really powerful in Sky Striker because she blinks herself out, so it lets you functionally have 2 monsters on board at any given time, but still have your Sky Striker spells online. We've got the 1 off access code is there to OTK. The deck really used to struggle with killing its opponent, and access code largely fixes this problem. An access code on 4300 kills your opponent pretty quickly, and just having it sitting in the extra monster zone, accruing advantage, popping between 3 and 5 cards every turn is disgustingly powerful. And then Typhon is there. If our opponent goes ham through their extra deck, we can use this Typhon to just immediately clear everything they're doing, and he'll just sit in the extra monster zone for the turn that he gets summoned. And that's it. I will see you in the games. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 1 of this episode of Advanced Yugioh. We have lost the RPS, so we will be on the draw, which is exactly where we want to be anyway. Pretty good opening hand. Linkage, Upstart, Shark Cannon, Upstart, Lightning Storm. Just about exactly where we want to be. Opponent is passing with nothing. That's interesting. I guess that means that they bricked to hell and back? I can't possibly imagine what else that could mean. Our opponent is, once again, being slow to respond. Let's go with Upstart. This is one where, yep, okay. Draw that card. Are you going to gain your 1,000 life points? Yep. And we got drolled. Well, in that case, we're going to set 1, 2, 3. The Upstart will be sent off for linkage if we think that's necessary, and we'll ship it on back. This is the problem with Upstart. Everybody seems to be running Droll at this point. So, alright, let's see what our opponent is actually up to. Engraver. That is fine. I also think I figured out what the imperm in the deck is for. It's probably to set off of Thrust, so that you have an interaction piece that you can set off of Thrust. They'll go for Tract. Tract is ultimately fine. We do have the Shark Cannon to eat the Lurry after they discard it. So they will go Lurry effect, and we will Shark Cannon the Lurry. Alright, we've got Linkage and Upstart. Linkage is probably not going to be activated this turn. Ideally, we will not need that, but if need be, we can go Linkage, send off the Upstart, and summon Kaina. Okay, and our opponent has just shipped it right on back to us. We will draw for turn. DP standby. Our opponent has a Foolos. That is fine. I don't think we actually care about that. We're going to go Upstart. Draw another card. Yep, okay. Ooh, that's really powerful. Right, if our opponent would gain their 1,000 life points, there we go. I think I just want to Upstart again. Well, this Thrust is going to have to set either way, so I'm not sure how much it actually matters. I think we're just going to activate the next Upstart again. Opponent's going to be at 1,100 life points, but that's fine. Alright, I have no idea what my opponent is on, but we will... Let's go Thrust. Thrust will set us probably imperm at this point. Maybe we want Engage. I think we want Engage. Yeah, we're going to set Engage. It can't be activated this turn, but that's alright. We just need to start accruing advantage at some point, and that seems like the best way to do it. Dueling Book is lagging like crazy, of course. Okay, there we go. Set the Engage. We will set Cosmic, and do we want to set the other linkage? I think the answer to that question is no. So we will just ship it from there. Our opponent did just hand loop themselves for another card for no profit. Kind of weird to shotgun Fualos after seeing that I'm playing Striker. The deck can just pass after literally not summoning. Kiss a Kill Frost is really annoying. Think. Let's make our opponent think that we have some interaction. I do not believe this has to be link summoned. Yep. Yeah, nothing we can summon will be relevant. That's fine. Opponent will link off the Kiss a Kill Frost for the Kiss a Kill deal. I kind of should have figured that this was the deck that was being played. I guess the Thrust maybe should have set Imperm. That would have been better. We, of course, no longer have the copy of Shark Cannon to interact with the Lilla Suite here. We're going to link off probably for Lilla at this point. They presumably realize that we have some form of interaction and at the very least want to remove Engage. Linking off Deal for Requiem is an interesting choice. I don't think I agree with that, but you do you, boo. Requiem is fine, unfortunately. Lightning Storm does say no face-up cards only, and we've got this Raigeki as well. So our opponent may end up in a little bit of trouble depending on what they do. They probably just go for an Agnum Day line that they think just kills me, but then we can linkage sending off this Cosmic Cyclone in order to summon out Kaina to prevent the Desiree from attacking, I think. I don't actually remember how Agnum Day is worded. I don't remember if there's a spot in which you can actually interact there. So let us see what they're up to. Alright, they're going to link off for a Lilla. They'll go Lilla to special summon back. They'll summon back the Kiss a Kill Frost, probably? Don't think it matters particularly much, but yeah. Okay, so Lilla for Kiss a Kill Frost. They will link those two off for Evil Twin Kiss a Kill. And then they will use Kiss a Kill to revive Lilla to pop another thing. Or to pop one of my back row. Presumably they'll go after the Engage, unless they think that they have lethal. Okay, so they're just going for the Engage, that's fine. Engage is gone. Again, reason to maybe not go for Engage there, but you live and you learn. Here is Troubles Sunny. They will go... Are they going to go Troubles Sunny Effect? Nope, they're going End of Main. That's fine. At start of battle phase, think. Do I care if I take 33? No, I can just take the damage. Yeah, so we'll just take our 3,300. And then they will crack the Troubles Sunny for both of them back. They'll draw a card and we'll take another 2,200. So this Cosmic Cyclone is not going to be the most online thing ever, but that's fine. Summon them both back. We'll take 11. They will draw a card first, and then we will take 11. Opponent will punch in. We will take our 11, take our 11 again. We are down to 2,500. That's a pretty reasonable life point total to stabilize at. Let's see where our opponent goes from here. There's a couple of things they could do. They could go for sequence, so that they could go for a normal line, or they are playing 2 troubles, Sunny. Oh, no, going for a Boaku. That makes sense, too. Would you like to pitch for cost? Sure. That's fine. As ever, it is important to make it look like you have more interaction than you do. Your opponent does have to respect that you maybe have something going on that they don't know about, and having that be the case means that they'll be thinking about what they're playing around. Okay, they've got a back row set. Presumably that's just like an imperm or something, but I don't actually know. I suppose I could have read that it was twin just based off of the fact that they led on Fiendsmith. They will go for the end phase. We are going to link it. We're going to go Cosmic Cyclone and then linkage. So they will get back their Boaku. We will go pay our 1,000, target this, and then in response, we will go linkage. Activate linkage, sending the Cosmic Cyclone to summon out a Kagari. We will trigger Kagari, targeting the N-Gage, obviously. Do they have a Ghost Bell? What could they have here? It's quite an interesting question. They do have the Ghost Bell. That is fine. Don't think we care at all. Draw phase, standby. This did turn off our own Lightning Storm, but there's a non-zero chance our own Kagari gets popped anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. Do you want to trouble Sunny really aggressively? If they trouble Sunny aggressively, we can Lightning Storm them. I really do need them to respond. Once again, the troubles with playing on a manual simulator. Okay, it has been long enough. I'm just going to the main phase. Shuffle up our hand, and we will go for Raigeki. See what they've got. The correct response here is to a Boaku in order to summon a light or dark monster from graveyard, depending on what their card in hand is, because that clears the Boaku out of the way so they can continue to utilize it. And oh, they're just not responding at all. That's an interesting choice. I don't know that we can make our opponent pay for it here, but it is certainly an interesting choice. Okay, I think what we want to do here is we want to link someone into Hayate. We want to punch with Hayate for 15, trigger the effect, mill over Raye, activate linkage to summon out a Kagari. Kagari, add back N-Gage, punch with Kagari for an extra 900, so 2,400. So yeah, we will go link off Kagari for Hayate. And main, I don't see what they could possibly have, but punch in for 15. They will take their 1,500. We will trigger the Hayate. This will mill over a copy of Sky Striker Ace Raye, and then we will activate linkage. Linkage will turn this Hayate into a Kagari, and Kagari will add back the N-Gage. Okay. And we will punch for 24. Opponent has a Druis Worm. Okay, that's a little annoying. On deck. Okay. They will Druid Swarm, targeting Raye. That's fine. I mean, it sucks, but it's largely fine. So now they've got a Druid Swarm. No redeclare. We'll go main 2. Can we out this Druid Swarm particularly effectively? Well, we're activating Engage either way. So we do have a couple of options here. I think it is probably correct to go for Afterburners and pop the guy, but let me double check that there isn't anything else we would rather be doing. We've got Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon could steal a monster out of their graveyard to tempt banish the Druid Swarm, but that does not seem like the most effective solution. We could go Roze. We could just tutor for Raye. If we tutor for Raye, normal summon Raye, make Azalea send, or pop there. Druid Swarm will trigger, send the Azalea, trigger the Raye, summon the Raye. Yeah, that sounds correct. So we'll go for Raye. We'll draw our card. Engage into Engage, baby. It's just that easy. We'll activate Engage. And this Engage will, in fact, find us the Afterburners. Right? Do we want Afterburners or do we want Widow Anchor? I don't think we want to show them that we have Widow Anchor. So we are going to grab this Afterburners. And then we will draw another card. Linkage is very powerful. We're going to go for Afterburners targeting their Druid Swarm, which will be popped. They'll trigger the Druid Swarm and send the Kagari to the graveyard. Goodbye, Kagari. Normal summon Raye. We will link Raye into Shizuku, set a pair, and move to end phase, trigger Shizuku. Shizuku will add us a copy of Multi-Roll. If Dueling Book wants to cooperate. Yeah. Oh. End phase, what do you have? What do you have in the graveyard? At quick effect speed. Lacrima. Sure. That's fine. Don't care. Shizuku is not getting particularly much value at this point, but that's fine. Like, this is the only thing we can tutor for right now until we thin some cards out of our deck. Alright, and then we will pass the turn. And yeah. They've got Requiem and whatever they top deck. So there's an argument to be made for, I think in standby, there's an argument to be made for Widow Anchoring their Requiem. Because if we Widow Anchor the Requiem, because it is during main phase only, they don't get to activate it and resolve it. And the only other cards that matter are the Live Twins. Nah. Standby is fine. Don't believe that's what we are here for. So, let's see. Do they have anything else that they can do? Alright, our opponent is going to activate Sunny's Snitch. Sunny's Snitch is fine. Do not have the Cosmic for it. I guess there is an argument to be made for Widow Anchoring, but I don't think that's necessary, because then if we steal and they top deck Sunny Snitch or one of the other original Live Twin names, then we kind of just lose on the spot for no reason. So we end up losing for basically no profit. Opponent, what do they have in the grave? They've got Engraver. What are you spinning back? Spinning back Deal. Sure, that's fine. This will summon out their Engraver. Okay, from here, what do you do? You could link these two into the sequence, but they're not going to. They're going to summon Lacrima bin over another Engraver before making the sequence. Or they might go... Are they triggering the Lacrima effect? It looks like the answer to that question is no. Now the issue with using Widow Anchor and Widow Anchor stealing is that, okay, so they are going to, okay, that's fine. Do I want to steal the Engraver is the real question that I'm asking myself now. I think the answer to that question is no. Yeah, they're fine to keep going. They'll go Engraver, target my Shizuku, and the Requiem. Do I want to negate Engraver? I think the answer to that question is no. So Shizuku will die. And that will trigger our Raye. We will summon out Raye. Raye is going to quick link into the Kagari, the last Kagari left in our extra deck. They're going to link those two off for sequence, I assume. Think on summon. My guy, that is an ignition effect at spell speed 1. Please slow down. I have face-up quick effects on board. Alright, here we're gonna... Kinda doesn't do anything, so we are just going to quick link into Kagari. Kagari is going to snag back an Engage, and then we will have the Widow Anchor for the rest of what they're up to. Alright. We will go Raye. Raye will summon Kagari. Kagari will trigger, and we will target the Engage. Yep. Engage will come back to hand. Okay. And then from there, you are good to continue. We are going to immediately Widow Anchor the sequence and steal. Yep. So there goes the sequence. They do still get to do basically everything they want to. They can go normal summon Frost, link into Deal with Deal, summon back the Lilla, make Lilla, basically going off, and we don't really have any gas left in the tank aside from this Engage in hand, but I don't think that they will be able to find lethal, because they can't fusion summon, so they can't put the Troubles Sunny back. And their monsters are 1100s. Kagari is absolutely disgustingly large. Been over a Lilla. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think you do want to keep that. I have shown that I'm going to repeatedly remove your entire board. But, you know, to each their own. They will go Lilla's Sweet to summon back. That is fine. we don't have interaction anymore, but once again, it is good to pretend that you do, act as if you do, so that your opponent is thinking about it. They're going to link those two off. They are playing what appears to be both, unless this is going into an SP. If this goes into an SP, we'll know that they are truly, utterly out of gas, and removing the sequence should be our high priority. But we don't know that yet, so we'll see. And next turn we can go multi-roll, engage. We don't have Kagari. Okay, they are on both. There's summoned Lilla. That's interesting. Lilla's fine. Yeah, you can draw an extra card. Sunny Snitch might be problematic because of the drain effect, as we are quite low on life points, but we should be able to clear it without too much trouble. I think if my opponent goes into the second Kiss-a-Kill to summon back Lilla to pop the Kagari to get me out of the Raye loop, we do probably win, because then we just Lightning Storm their back row or their front row, not sure which we do yet, and then we'll go from there. Although, probably before we go Lightning Storm, we want to activate Engage to see if we draw into Raigeki. Because if we draw into Raigeki, that changes the texture of what we're doing, because it means that the Lightning Storm is just playing the role of Duster. If we draw Duster, it means that the Lightning Storm is just playing the role of Raigeki. Opponent is in a tough spot. They are much further behind than it would look like. We do largely just have the hooks in at this point. If we have another Widow Anchor, we can steal the sequence again, link them both off for Azalea to send the Sunny Snitch away, or to temp banish with Zeke, and Zeke can make itself quite large pretty quickly. They're going to link both off for a Muckraker. This could get really... this does kill me, actually, I believe. Yeah, they go Muckraker, summon back Trouble's Sunny, and Trouble's Sunny will... Does this discard for cost? That is fine. We are just dead here. Because we decided to steal the sequence, our opponent is going to be able to punch for lethal over our sequence. And maybe should have, in response to stealing the sequence, linkage to summon a Shizuku to shrink their board rather than just have one large idiot. That would have almost certainly have been correct. So, our opponent does, in fact, have the win here. That would be why they went for the draw. And, yeah, they are just going straight to the battle phase, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Because linkage does require us to have no cards in the extra monster zone, or in the main monster zone, in order to activate, much like everything else. If our opponent doesn't realize that they should just attack sequence, they may be in trouble, but they probably will. Yep, okay. So we'll just scoop there, giving our opponent the opportunity to screw it up. We don't have Simmel Archfiends to be able to lock them out of Link summoning, which is a little annoying. We do want the Dominus Purges, I think. We probably sub out the upstarts. We're going second, so we want these. What does Dominus Purge lock us out of? Light, Earth, and Wind. That means we don't get to use Roze effect, but Roze effect doesn't really come up. D-Barrier doesn't matter. DDG could be relevant, but I don't think we want that when we're on the draw. Shared Ride might be relevant, don't think it is. Lancia might be relevant, again, don't think it is. Shared Ride is more of a going first card. I think we swap out the Raye. So, once again, on the draw. Let's see what our opponent does. There's a lot of things to be thinking about with this deck. Didn't open any interaction in the opening hand, but that's fine. We'll just see how far they can take it. This Forbidden Droplet is a little bit less powerful than I would like, because we do not have any monsters in our hand, and that's what's relevant to be sending, but that is almost always going to be the case with this deck because there's 4 monsters in the whole deck and only another 3 in the side. So then they'll link off the Frost for the deal. Go deal effect to mill over the Lilla Suite. And I don't know how in tune with the combo they are. They're going to activate Suite here, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as you summon her at some point. Well, it kind of does matter, actually. They are just going straight into Requiem. That's fine. Don't care. This means that they're going to end up not drawing an extra card unless they go through Trouble Sunny the way that they probably will. It's an interesting choice to be summoning Lilla Suite here. Mill over the Engraver. With the Lacrima, they'll go Engraver to spin back Deal to summon the Engraver. Oh, Requiem. Yeah, that's fine. Requiem equipped to Lacrima. I assume we're making Necroquip. Yep. You can do that as well. Summon the Engraver. They'll go summon Necroquip with the Requiem and the Lacrima. There's the Necroquip. Do they have a reason to have summoned the Necroquip? Do they have a way to discard? If they do, they're going pretty hard. Like if they've drawn another Engraver, nope. They're just going immediately into a rank 6. This will be a, DDD Wave High King Caesar. That's fine, don't care. They will link both of those off for the Evil Twin Lilla. They'll go Lilla, revive a Kiss-a-Kill, link both off for a Kiss-a-Kill. Yep, revive the Kiss-a-Kill Frost, link them both off for Evil Twin Kiss-a-Kill. And then Evil Twin Kiss-a-Kill will summon back Evil Twin Lilla, and they'll link both off for the Troubles Sunny. I don't think there's anything to be done beyond that because they did the line really poorly. They should have a lot more material than they do. They should have also been able to end on a Boaku. I guess it just depends on what kind of extension they have in their opening hand. So they'll go Troubles Sunny, summon back Evil Twin Kiss-a-Kill and Evil Twin Lilla. Kiss-a-Kill will draw them a card, that's fine. They've got 5 cards in hand. I'm assuming a bunch of it is non-engine. And then they're going to link both of those off for a Boaku. I guess they are doing it anyway. So, I'm talking a lot of crap for basically no reason. Alright, yep. A Boaku is fine. Yep, discard Fualos, that makes sense. You're not using Fualos at this point. Summon back the Troubles Sunny, and you've ended on a Boaku plus Troubles Sunny. This card is crazy. A Boaku is probably the most preposterous card I've read in a long time. And, you know, I'm happy to see that my favorite deck of the modern era gets to play it. Alright, they've got set 1. Do they have any other back row? If they only have the one back row, this Cosmic Cyclone is going to go kind of hard. But if not, they... Alright, they do only have the one back row. They'll get their Boaku back. I'm hoping that we can top deck into Raigeki. If we do, I'm pretty sure we just win. Mistaken Arrest. That's really annoying. This means that we are just going to have to top deck really well. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. So we're gonna go for... Let's go... We could Forbidden Droplet sending 3. Forbidden Droplet send Raye, Shark Cannon, and Multi-Roll to negate all 3 of their idiots. I think in any case, we're starting with Cosmic. to remove their back row. What have you got? They should go for the Lacrima here, I believe. They'll probably want that to be happening basically as soon as they can. Okay, that's SCMR. I can see the thought process behind SCMR in this deck, but I'm not sure I agree with it. We could go for normal summon Raye, but then that just gets BTFO'd. They go Trouble Sunny, summon back the 2, try to pop it. I try to summon, they try to Wave Viking Caesar, but then we just Droplet, and then we've gotten basically every point of interaction out of their play except for exactly a Boaku. Yeah, I think that's right. Normal summon. If our opponent doesn't do anything about this, we'll just go straight into Hayate. But if they do, we will see from there. Okay, they are going to do exactly as expected. That's fine. They'll go for Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny will summon back Evil Twins, Lilla, and Kiss-a-Kill. Really interesting that people always summon these with their arrows in such a way that they do not do anything at all. They'll go Evil Twin Lilla, targeting Raye. We'll sack off Raye. They will attempt to Wave High King Caesar, and we will go Droplet, pitching Hornet drones, and multi-roll for Boaku and Wave High King Caesar. So those are both negated, and their attack is halved. We'll go for Hayate. Boaku is at 1400. We want to punch over the Boaku so that they do not continue to have access to it. And this will dump over an Engage, which we will recur back. And main. Thinking at end of main, what could they have? Oh, they have Lacrima, I forgot about. Valor on Hayate. That's really annoying, but that's fine. Yeah, that kind of sucks. We are still gonna go Hayate, punch, and then main 2 link off for Kagari. Do I want to go Hayate, punch? I think we do just go straight. I think we just go straight for Kagari. Kagari target multi-roll. Yeah. Link off Hayate for Kagari. Kagari target multi-roll. They will think here. They should activate Lacrima here because my adding back multi-roll should signal to them that I have a striker spell in hand that I want to be able to use. But I don't know how many levels of that they're on. They're going to Ghost Bell. That's really, really annoying. Okay, so this Kagari is a 1900. 19 beats Wave High King Caesar, but I don't think I actually care about Wave High King Caesar as much as I care about Boaku. Yeah. And main. Once again, trying to end the main phase. Okay. We'll go into combat. We will punch into the Boaku. They will take 14 plus, so they'll take 500. 500 damage, and then we'll go to our second main. We'll make Shizuku. And then the question here is, do I want to hold up this Shark Cannon in anticipation that they are going to activate Lacrima to get back Requiem, or do I want to set it and hope that they let my Shizuku resolve before they activate Lacrima? I think we lose much harder if we let them get away with Lacrima. So, end main. Now, if they go for Lacrima here, we just get to Shark Cannon. That's fine. End phase. We'll go Shizuku. What they should do here... right. I completely forgot about that. I can draw, but I can't tutor. Yeah, I know. You can shut up. That was really rude. I didn't need to say that. Yeah, we'll just pass here. Should have set the Shark Cannon, as it turns out. I think we're probably going to lose this one. They're going to punch over Shizuku, and then I'm going to trigger Raye, and they're going to chain Wave High King Caesar to negate it, and that's going to kind of be the entire game. They've got access to Engraver, Requiem, Lacrima. They should have gone for Lacrima, I think. Although they probably have the read that we have the Shark Cannon. I'm not sure. Okay, so they link those both off for Muckraker, sure. Muckraker targeting Trouble Sunny or a Boaku, I would imagine. I'd imagine they go for a Boaku unless they have some... Yeah, okay. Yeah, the cards in their hand would have to be particularly powerful in order to want to keep them all in their hand. But since they're not, they're going to go for a Boaku. A Boaku is going to possibly banish itself to summon Trouble Sunny. They're going to discard the last card in their hand to special summon. Yep. And I should have set the Shark Cannon. Kicking myself for that one, big time. So they'll summon Trouble Sunny. Their monsters are all shrunk by 400, but I don't think that that's going to matter very much here. They will go end of main. That is fine. They'll go Trouble Sunny in, losing 400, so it's 29 into 15. I will take 1400 and attempt to trigger Raye. Yep, they're going to go Wave High King Caesar. That's fine. We will take 1000 from Muckraker. We'll take 2800 from the Wave High King Caesar. They'll go Trouble Sunny, and yeah, we'll just scoop it up. Good game. Well, that was a little bit of a rough one, but it shows us the strengths and weaknesses of Striker. The Striker deck is, you know, decidedly powerful, but, you know, you do have to know exactly where all of your interaction is going in order to make the best use of it. So, yeah, we will try and improve on our decision-making skills for the next game, and I will see you there. Hello, and welcome to round 2 of 3 of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We have won the RPS, but we are putting ourselves on the draw because that is what our deck does. And let's see what our opponent is up to. They're starting us off with a Mitsurugi Prayers, tributing an Aramasa. So they're gonna tutor, and then they're gonna summon back the Mitsurugi, or just summon another idiot out of hand. So this really is just E-Telly, isn't it? This deck is so mind-numbingly boring to me. Every design is just about as uninteresting as it could possibly be. Everything that is supposed to be a cost is not a cost. But that's alright. Okay, yeah, so then they're going to tutor for that. They're going to pay 800 and summon the Saji, and then they're going to go trigger Saji, trigger Aramasa. Right? Yes, which will tutor another Mitsurugi monster. They'll go Saji, Chainlink 1, Aramasa, Chainlink 2, and that is fine. They will go for Ame no Murakamo no Mitsurugi, and the Saji will grab, I would assume, Mitsurugi Ritual. Yep, there's Mitsurugi Ritual. And all of that in the draw phase, so you can't even droll them. Alright, and our opponent is going to activate Mitsurugi Ritual to ritual from hand by dumping from deck, which isn't actually any cost whatsoever, and you can't even Ash Blossom this. So, here, what does this card do? When your opponent activates a card effect, your opponent can discard a card, or that effect is negated. So it's bad interaction. By tributing Habakiri no Mitsurugi, if this card is tributed, you can tutor a Mitsurugi card, because why would there be any costs? Opponent has gone so far +1 in terms of raw card advantage, and beyond that. Here's another Prayers. Luckily that's a hard once per turn, but I don't know that it matters. Alright, draw for turn. We have gotten the all clear. Well, we are going to lead on Feather Duster because they've got 2 back row. And what else would we be doing? They are probably going to chain Prayers, or they'll go Ame no Mitsurugi. I think I want to discard. We will discard an Upstart Goblin. They will then chain Prayers. Or not chain Prayers. I think they meant to just send it to the graveyard. So there's the Forbidden Droplet. We've got 2 spells in graveyard. I do not need this Rhoda, so let's go for Pot of Desires. Hopefully we don't banish our Roze. We did not. They're going to Ash Blossom the Desires. That's fine. We do still have this Rhoda. What did we banish? We banished Raigeki, Lightning Storm, Raye, Thrust, Engage, Multi-Roll, Linkage, Widow Anchor. So we milled over some important stuff, but nothing too mission critical. We'll go normal summon Raye. And let's immediately link her off, summon Hayate. Do they have stuff out of the graveyard? I don't think any of their stuff. Another reptile would be destroyed by battle or card effect and tribute this guy. Yeah, no, that doesn't do anything out of the graveyard. And main. We'll go combat and punch for 15. Opponent will take the 15. We will go Hayate effect. Opponent is fine with that. We will dump the Engage. We'll go main 2, link off Hayate, grab Kagari. We will activate Kagari, targeting the Engage, add back the Engage. We will activate Rhoda. Rhoda is going to grab us Roze. We should have done this before summoning Kagari so that we could go for more. That's alright. We'll go for Engage. Engage will grab us a copy of Afterburners, and we will draw a card. Drawing another Raye is not exactly where we want to be. We will go Afterburners, target the Ame. They're going to just let that go. That's interesting. That wasn't what I was expecting. We could go for Azalea here to get rid of the Saji. Like link off Kagari, make kinda link off, trigger Roze, summon her out, make Azalea. Or we could go for SP Little Knight, banish the Habakiri? We could go for Habakiri, or we could exile Murakamo. I think that we do, in fact, want to go for SP. So we'll go kinda trigger Roze, special summon Roze, link these 2 off for we do have to go for Azalea because we did attack directly. Azalea will pop the Saji. Very good. We will link off the Azalea for a Shizuku. Set Shark Cannon. End main. Opponent is cool with that. We will go for Shizuku. Shizuku will tutor us a Widow Anchor, and we will pass the turn. Hopefully those last two cards are not quite good enough. We do have Shark Cannon. Yes! Alright. Phenomenal stuff. Our opponent didn't set up particularly much interaction, so that was alright. I assume our opponent is going to put us back on the draw again. I would like the impulses. I don't think Cosmic matters, and I think we can, as per usual, we could thin a Desires or an Upstart. I think I want to thin the Upstart. Upstart's not very good. From there, I don't think we care about anything else on the draw. Let's see. They are putting us on the play. Okay, so not entirely surprising. I maybe should have sided, considering that that would probably be the case. We are not getting Fool Lost. Alright, well, Pot of Desires, banish 10, and see where that takes us. Our opponent is going to Fool Lost in response. Sure. We will draw our 2. Let's see, what did we banish? Impulse, Roze, that's unfortunate. Multi-roll, Raye, Engage, Impulse, Called by the Grave, Engage, Upstart, Lightning Storm. Alright, so 2 Engage down. That's a little unfortunate. We'll go for the Upstart Goblin. Which I am going to assume is fine. Yep, okay. If Dueling Book would like to work, yep, okay. There's Hornet Drones. Do I want to use Hornet Drones or Raye? I mean, the answer is obviously I want to use Raye, because that's the more powerful card. And we want Raye in our graveyard for purposes of Shizuku, or for purposes of recursion. But I think we just go normal summon Raye, set a few, and pass. Our opponent shotgunning this Fool Loss is an interesting choice. Keeping Foolos in, period, is an interesting choice. And we will set 4, go end main. Opponent is probably going to signal okay, and we will pass the turn. Don't want my opponent to do anything, get anything more than that. DP standby is fine. Yep. We will go to main 1. Let's see where we go from here. They will go Ame no Habakiri. You can reveal this special Mitsurugi from deck, then tribute a monster you control. That is fine. So this just tributes a monster from their deck, which means that they get to tutor. So they'll find Saji, tribute Saji. Or if this card is tributed, you can... That's really stupid. I hate this deck with a burning passion. Saji is going to tutor them, probably Ritual, possibly Quick Play, but nope, it is just Ritual. They will go for Ritual here. I'm gonna chain Raye to summon... We'll summon Kaina. They'll Ritual summon. Ame no Murakamo. They will mill over Mitsurugi no Mikoto Kusanagi and Aramasa. They have triggers. This card is special summon, pop all monsters. Trigger both of those. Trigger Kaina, target there. Think we've got Shark Cannon, we've got Hornet Drones, we've got Linkage. Shark Cannon can only target monsters. This, if tributed, tutors a Mitsu. This, if tributed, grabs back a Mitsu. That's fine. So Kaina will freeze Ame no Murakamo. They'll add back Ritual. They'll tutor for something, presumably. Ame no Habakiri, and then my board will be wiped, and I will trigger the Raye. Raye will be summoned, and we are good from there. This does turn off most of my interaction, but I don't think the Shark Cannon is doing much of anything, and Infib is also not doing much of anything. I'm comfortable just summoning back this Raye because I have another one in hand, and I would like to stave off some damage if possible. So they're going for Ritual. To Ritual summon from deck, that's fine. So Ritual summoning from deck, they're going to summon out, I would assume, the other Mitsurugi Ritual. Yep, there's Habakiri, tributing the Habakiri from hand. And then they will trigger the Habakiri in their graveyard to tutor. That is fine. Interesting that they decided not to tribute off the Murakamo. It was basically free to do so, and it would have meant that they could get another attack in. There's the prayers added to hand. I'm just not really sure what they're doing, what their plan here is. They're activating prayers, tributing off Ame no Murakamo. That is unfortunately going to be fine. You can only use each effect once per turn. So they are not getting the board wipe off. Yeah, summoning back the Raye was probably the wrong choice, because we could have had Shark Cannon here to get rid of their Murakamo, which would have been quite powerful. Hell, we could have even stolen it, and then normal summoned Raye and linked stuff off. Sorry, no target to add. That, okay. So they are just going to prayers pay 800, I guess. Okay. So they are only going to use it to special summon. They do have to pay 800 life points, but they'll do that in a moment, I'm sure. Yep, there's the 800 life points. The prayers goes away. They'll go for what here? Special summon Sword Ryzeal. I don't think I can let you get into Ryzeal shit. So we're going to infib the sword. They're going to chain Ame no Murakamo. And we're going to... Do we want to discard this Raye? I think we have to. I think we're priced into it. So from here, our opponent can overlay for duo drive anyway, I guess, which is the problem. They go overlay for duo drive, tutor for 2. Yeah, this is probably the entire game right here, because we did not decide to go first. So I think given what deck we're playing against, our opponent is going to assume that we want to be on the draw. So we are going to side to go first, side in basically all of the back row we have to beat this deck. And there's the Exciton Knight. Exciton Knight, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than you do. This Exciton Knight is never going to be online. It's really an interesting choice. Maybe they didn't realize it cares about the combined. What the heck? Rank 8? Tragluxion? What the heck? I have never seen this before. I may just be missing something that is totally obvious to people who play the format more frequently, but I don't know that this is standard. Oh, it tutors for 7th Tachyon. That makes sense. Okay, never mind. I thought it was interesting. I was wrong. So from here they go Exciton. You can't do that. I only have 4 cards. You have 6. Yeah, I think our opponent has never read Exciton Knight properly, so they're going to pay slightly for that. They don't get to do everything they want to. I assume the 7th Tachyon would be used to search for Ext. They're going to the battle phase, that's fine. We're going to have the 19 punch over Raye, and then we're going to take 25. And again, this is largely just fine because we have the Hornet drones already. So Hornet drones can continue to munch away. We can continue to accrue card advantage and such. I think we probably go Hornet drones, chain linkage, send it off, make Shizuku? I don't know. It's hard to say. Alright, draw for turn. That's a pretty good top deck. We are probably never going to have more cards on our field, in our combined field and graveyard, than our opponent. This is 4. This goes -1. This goes even 1. So this will turn into a thing. This will turn into a thing. This removes one of their things, but removes one of my things. So we'll still be at 4. We'll be at parity. Do I want to get rid of this Dragluxion, or do I want to get rid of the Exciton Knight? So the thing with the Exciton Knight is I can probably deal with Exciton Knight. Or I definitely can deal with Exciton Knight. Yeah, okay. We're going to go Afterburners their Dragluxion. Popping the Dragluxion is pretty nice. We'll go Hornet drones. And then in response to the Hornet drones, we'll go linkage. So linkage is going to send the Hornet drones to summon Kagari, and then Hornet drones will summon us a token, and we will trigger Kagari, targeting the Afterburners. I believe we want the Afterburners. Do we want the Afterburners or the linkage? I think we want the Afterburners. We will turn those two into Azalea? So we can turn Kagari into Hayate, the token into Shizuku, because I do want to get to SP. I think that that's important. That is the problem with having gone into Kagari. So we're going to link off into Hayate. Hayate will mill over something. Probably not engage. We'll mill over another shark cannon, probably. Yeah. So go link off Kagari for Hayate. And link off the token for Shizuku. Shizuku is shrinking everything by 4, so we could crash with Exciton Knight if we wanted to. And main? We'll go battle phase. We'll punch in for 15. Opponent will take it. We'll go Hayate. Hayate is going to dump a... yeah, we'll dump a shark cannon because we've already got one of those. Now, do I want to crash or do I want to make SP? If I crash, that clears the Exciton Knight, but it doesn't clear their graveyard. Okay, we'll just go main 2. We'll turn those two into Azalea. No, we can't make Azalea there. We'll turn them into Zeke, actually. Zeke to temporarily banish the Exciton Knight. And then we will go to the end phase and pass the turn. That was definitely wrong. I keep forgetting that you can't SP if you've already attacked directly, which is annoying. We'll go standby main. We know they have 7th Tachyon, so they can 7th Tachyon, tutor for Ext. What will this get rid of? I'm not sure what is correct for my opponent to call here. For back row, I will go Shark Cannon targeting Ame no Murakamo. Sorry. They'll go Prayers. Yes, that's fine. So they will pay their 800 to summon back Ame no Murakamo. And then Shark Cannon will fizzle. And Lightning Storm will resolve. That will happen. We'll pop Zeke. Do I want to trigger Raye? Absolutely. Trigger the Raye. Special summon her back. Now I could go for Kagari, and Kagari could grab back the Shark Cannon, but we'll see if we even get that far. Yeah, they'll go 7th Tachyon, reveal Masquerade, tutor for Ext. Or tutor for Ice, that's fine too. Normal summon Ice, Ice trigger, summon Ext. So they've got Ext, or Ice and an Unknown in hand. They're gonna go Ice, Ice effect. That's fine, they know what the last card in our hand is, it's just Afterburners. But we do have to continue to manually tell them that things are okay because we've got this Raye on board, which we can use in response to a removal spell. Or in response to targeted removal, if it gets there. And depending on what our opponent attacks with, the Raye could be useful beyond that. So Sword only being able to grab Star and Ext that are useful at this point is interesting, because they've got this Ame stuck on board. So they're going to grab Ext. They can summon Ext, but they don't get the search off. So they're gonna overlay these two for Duo Drive, probably. They'll Duo Drive trigger to attach. That's fine. There's nothing I can do to interact here, but it will have to be alright. So we'll go Duo Drive to detach 2. They'll probably detach Sword and Ice. Yep. I don't see any reason why you would detach Sword. Going into the extra monster zone specifically is kind of interesting. So they'll grab a Node Ryzeal, which makes sense, so they can send off the Ame to special summon back one of their other Ryzeals, and grab another Ice. And Ice can summon itself by sending off the Ame no Murakamo. I believe we are just cooked here. Our opponent is summoning Ext Ryzeal. Do they think they're getting the effect off? Looks like no. They know better. They're special summoning Ice by sending Droll and Lockport from their hand to the graveyard. That makes sense. They're probably going to overlay those two for Detonator. Detonator will tutor, or will attach the Eclipse Twins back to them. Yep, Detonator is fine. Annoying, but fine. Attaching the Eclipse Twins. They will go to the battle phase. So we are not directly dead. They're going to punch for... No, we are just directly dead. Yeah, okay. Totally misreading cards. So we're going to go on the play. We want all of this, possibly Shared Ride. This should almost certainly just be Mistaken Arrest. I don't know what I was thinking. I like the impulses. We're obviously cutting Raigeki, cutting Duster, cutting Lightning Storm. I think we cut the Imperm? No, that can't be right. Perhaps we cut a Droplet. I don't know that we can afford to be pitching that many cards. Cosmic doesn't matter at all, unless Unless Mitsurugi only plays one copy of the ritual. Let's see. Sure. Just see what this is. I assume there are multiple copies of ritual. That's on 2. This one is on only 1. I don't think it matters that much. I think we're fine like this. We're done siding. We're going first. We're hoping we draw any of our sideboard pieces to be able to interact effectively. Ooh, that's pretty powerful. Draw phase standby. Let's see. Is that all right? All right. In our main phase, we are going to normal summon Raye. And we will turn Raye into Shizuku. We will set 1, 2, 3, and we will pass the turn. Trigger the effect of Shizuku. They'll Ash Blossom it. That's fine. Alright. Draw for turn. Draw phase standby is fine. They've got a draw phase prayers. That Faricha for sure. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think we care here. It looks like they're just tutoring, which tells me that they probably don't have Mitsus in hand. So this Dominus Impulse is going to hit the Ame. And Dimensional Barrier will call Xyz. They'll go Ame. We will go Dominus. Alright, well, Dominus Impulse just worked, and now they probably go 7th Tachyon. Yeah, that's fine. Show me the number. Let's see, you'll go grab Ice, revealing 104. That's fine. They're going to normal summon Ice, Ice Effect, and we're going to chain Dimensional Barrier. They'll go Ice, we'll go Dimensional Barrier, call Xyz, and that should hopefully be basically the end of their turn from there. They're going to summon another guy. They might have Link monsters, but I think 7th Tachyon locks you into Xyz monsters. Yeah, they are Xyz locked, so they can't even go for like an SP or anything to get a little bit of extra value off. Okay, so they summon the Sword. Sword is going to tutor for the X. Yep. X could be summoned, but I don't really see why they'd want to do that unless they're just wanting to pull cards out of their deck so that they can draw better for the next turn. There's a set card. We don't have any actual back row removal to deal with anything that they have. And it is just back to us. Draw for turn. DP standby. Should hopefully be fine. I don't really see what it could be, what they could have that wouldn't be fine. We're gonna go main 1. I think we just go immediately for Hayate and Hayate will be summoned there, and we will attempt to go to the end of the main phase. So we'll go combat, we will attack directly, and they will take the 15. We will trigger the effect of the Hayate. We will mill over. We don't have any spells in Graveyard. Do I want to just get Afterburners? I don't think Afterburners matters at all because they've got the Ext in hand. I think what we want to do is we want to mill over Widow Anchor. We'll go main 2. From there, and we will link off the Hayate for a Kagari. Go Kagari. Target the Widow Anchor. Add back the Widow Anchor. Set 1. Set 2. Do I want to go through Azalea first? This pops anything? So we could pop the back row, but I don't know what the back row is to even gauge whether I should be concerned about it. I don't think removing ice or sword matters. I think it's better to just leave that in the bank for us to be able to go into later. We've already attacked directly, so SP Little Knight doesn't make any sense. So yep, we're just linking off the Kagari, making a Shizuku, and going to the end of the main phase. And we will go into the end phase, trigger our Shizuku effect to attempt to tutor. They're going to Droplet, sending Foolos. That makes sense. Our effect will be negated, and we will pass the turn. Don't mind our opponent too for wanting themselves just to interact with Shizuku. Opponent heading into main 1, and we will see what they're up to. I don't think Ext is worth Widow Anchoring, because they can go directly into Exciton Knight and wipe the rest of my board, and that would be rather unfortunate. I think other than that, there's not much to be done. Honestly, if they just go straight for Exciton Knight, we might be boned anyway, because that puts them to 5 cards and we've got 6. Well, they go straight for Exciton Knight, we activate Widow Anchor, and it's fine. We're back to parity. Our opponent is tutoring and we're not. But they do get to immediately yoink interaction off of me, which is not where I want to be. King of the Feral Imps. Do I want to let them get to Mitsurugi stuff? I think largely that's fine. I think it's more important to interact with the Ryzeal stuff. So we're gonna see what they grab. They're gonna grab Saji. That makes sense. Saji's kind of the best starter, isn't it? Normal summon Saji. Saji's gonna tutor for a Mitsu back row, and I'm gonna Widow Anchor it. Yep, it is negated, and no flavor text. I'm not even sure if I would steal it at this point. Yep, they're gonna summon the Ext. Sending the, I would assume, twins. Sending Cowboy? You're playing Cowboy? That's really interesting. I'm really intrigued by that choice. I mean, Cowboy's, like, cool, but you have 3k beaters, and I don't see any way that burning for just 800 is going to be relevant in the modern day. Like, people are not playing on that thin of margins. So we're gonna tutor for a node. That makes sense. Special summon out the node after overlaying. They'll overlay for Duo Drive, I take it? Yep. Do they have Ryzeal in Graveyard? Do they want to trigger Duo Drive? Yeah, that's fine. Don't care. Yeah, that makes sense. Detach off of King of the Feral Imps. Interesting that they didn't detach the Saji. So they're gonna grab Cross. That makes sense. Assuming we have any monster-based interaction, they're gonna want to have that up to interact with us. Maybe not dive into Nibiru, stuff like that. Not be able to ash their ice. Little do they know, we're not playing any hand traps in the main anymore. Or we're not playing any hand traps, period, in right now. So they activate the Cross. They're going to, from there, probably special summon Node, summon something else, or they could normal summon Ice, summon another thing. Just depends on what exactly they're going for. Opponent is going to sack off King of the Feral Imps to special summon Ice Ryzeal. Sure. They're going to special summon out Node. Also fine. They're going to overlay those two, I would assume, for Detonator. Yep, I'll summon Detonator. Detonator effect, attach a monster from graveyard to it as Xyz material. That's fine. I don't really have anything I can do to interact with that positively, so we will just have to see what this does. So they'll go Cross. Cross targets. They'll target Ice and Sword. I do have to let them draw because it is not worded like Pot of Avarice. Is it? Yeah, because it says place them. Not place those targets. Knowing PSCT is really helpful to being able to play interactive decks that are very, very hyper aware of stuff. They're going to the battle phase. That is fine. They'll go Duo Drive into the Shizuku, which is 1,000 damage. And then we will take 3,100, right? Yes, Cross does not actually pump. We'll take 31 off of Detonator. And then we're going to have to hope and pray that we can manage from here. Alright, draw for turn. That's a pretty good top deck. DP, standby. Go into the main phase. So they've got a monster negate and a pop. We've got one spell in the graveyard. We can have it be 2 by going Shark Cannon Linkage. Linkage will grab, will summon out Kagari. Kagari will trigger, summon, or grab back Widow Anchor, and then we can Widow Anchor the Detonator. We won't be able to steal with the Detonator, but that's fine. Is there anything in here that's particularly relevant to banish? Not really, so we're just going to Shark Cannon targeting Ext. Shark Cannon targeting Ext. And then we will go Linkage, Chainlink 2. Opponent should probably be fine with that. I don't think there's anything they can do about it. There's not really a hand trap that interacts with this unless they've got a impulse in their hand for some reason. They are detonatoring. Oh, because then they can pop the Shark Cannon to fizzle the linkage. Except strike, also send one other, and if you do, okay. So this gets popped. Linkage fizzles. Shark Cannon banishes the Ext. And that's that. Okay. Then we will go activate Engage. It was, in fact, bait the entire time. Detonator does have destruction protection, which is really annoying. So I think we probably do just go Widow Anchor. We go then Widow Anchor. Yeah, that's fine. So we get drolled. That really sucks. it means that our lines are not as good. We'll activate Widow Anchor, targeting their detonator. If they're smart, they'll detonator and pop their own detonator, but if they're not thinking about it, we will just steal the detonator, link both off for SP? Does cross pop? Yes, so detonator will pop itself. Cross does not pop. So here, I think we want to go normal summon Raye, Raye summon Kagari, Kagari add back Widow Anchor steal Duo Drive. But that's not going to work because they've got the cross online. So then, after that, we'll go Hayate? That doesn't make any sense. This is a bit of a brain buster, I must say. Because they are absolutely going to negate the Kagari effect. But I don't think there's really anything else we can do and still continue to pretend we're in this game. So we're just going to normal summon Raye. And Raye is going to be linked off into Kagari. We will go Kagari effect, target, Widow Anchor. Opponent is going to negate with cross, that's fine. I mean, it's not, but it's fine. Is there anything further we can do from here? We could go Hayate, punch with Hayate, mill something over, main 2, go for Typhon. Typhon, spin the... Can Typhon spin anything? Can it spin... Let's turn you can target a monster on the field, return it to the hand. They did special summon twice from the extra deck. So I think we want to link off Kagari for Hayate. Hayate punch in, mill over a Shark Cannon or a multi-roll. I think probably mill over multi-roll. Yeah. So let's just summon Hayate. Go end main. And our opponent will be fine with that. We'll attack directly for 15. Trigger the Hayate. Hayate will mill over... I do believe we want to mill over multi-roll. And we will go main 2. We'll overlay into Typhon. And then Typhon bounce Duo Drive. Yep. Do I even want to bounce Duo Drive? I don't even know that I want to bounce Duo Drive. I think I'm supposed to, though. Bounce the Duo Drive. And then we are passing the turn. We are out of gas, kids. This upstart is going to have to draw us into something pretty darn powerful in order to do anything for us. Not really a big fan of giving our opponent another 1,000 life points at this juncture, but it should probably be fine. So we know our opponent has one of the Mitsurugi rituals in hand. They do get to Ryzeal cross, and we will hope that they don't draw anything powerful enough. And they've got a lot of draws to find something. But, I mean, any Ryzeal name does it. Whoa, set 1 pass. Okay, that's exciting for us. We will go into the main phase. Let's go Upstart Goblin. Draw me something broken. Dimensional Barrier. That could end up being useful at some point. We'll get Drolled. Sure. That tracks about right. We'll go Combat. We'll punch in. We are kind of in idiot mode. Yugioh. Punch over a Perulia. Second main. Let's go set 2 and pass the turn. Called by the Grave is really powerful. Dimensional Barrier means that They are going to be set back another extra turn regardless of what they top deck. Unless they somehow top deck a way that can weave them both into Mitsurugi and into Ryzeal in the same turn. That also gets through Called by the Grave. I don't see how they would manage that, but that might be an option they have. They do only have one Ryzeal in graveyard, so banishing the Ext was actually quite relevant. Let's see, target one Mitsurugi card in their graveyard. Targeting Prayers, that is going to be fine, unfortunately. So they'll add back Prayers. Prayers will be activated, probably not tributing, just to tutor. Oh, they are tributing Ame no Habakiri. Chain. Called by targeting Ame no Habakiri to banish it and negate their effects so that they do not get extra effects off of this. They do get to E-Telly, which is scary, but not the worst thing ever. They've got another cross, or not cross, duo drive, because I bounced the duo drive. But that shouldn't hopefully matter. I'm assuming that it won't matter. So, okay. Banish that. And Prayers will tutor and special summon. They're going to pay their 800, I'm sure. They're going to trigger Saji. The unfortunate thing here is that they did actually find a thing which would let them, unironically, tutor for the entire Mitsurugi line and net them all the way back into Ryzeal. So the question I have to answer now is, do I think I'm better equipped to beat Ryzeal or Mitsurugi? And I think the answer is I'm better equipped to beat neither of them. But if I go for Dimensional Barrier, calling Ritual, I do get to at least 1-for-1 them with it. And it means that the Dimensional Barrier will resolve. So now they can just overlay these two, make Duo Drive because I bounced the Duo Drive, and we're kind of in a shitty situation. There's an argument to be made for not bouncing the Duo Drive specifically because of this sort of situation, but I'm not sure that I like thinking like that. But we'll see. Okay, our monsters are the same stats right now. So, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So that means that their Duo Drive is now bigger than the Typhon. Okay, they'll go for Duo Drive to tutor. Obviously, our opponent knows that we have no interaction left right now. They're going to grab Node, and they're going to grab Ext. That makes sense. Summon the Node, summon the Ext. Ext dumping Eclipse Twins, probably. And then the 2 will be overlaid for Detonator, and I will be punched into for lethal. That is my assumption. Yep. So they will special summon Detonator, attach Gagaga Cowboy, and they will tutor for probably Ice or Sword. My goodness, I do not remember how these cards work at all. And then not activating Detonator to attach Eclipse Twins. Trigger the Sword. Sword is fine. Our opponent does have lethal already, but I am going to let them spin their wheels a little bit. Oh, I guess they can't trigger Detonator because of Typhon. Typhon does have real text on it. We will see, possibly, if us bouncing the Duo Drive mattered. Depends on what rank 4 they go into. They probably just go for something else. The Exciton Knight or something. I'm not sure. But, summoning Duo Drive again, or being able to summon the Duo Drive again, seems to have been problematic for us. Dugardus. Yeah, that is fine. They're gonna double the attack of Detonator, who is a 32, so he's a 64 now. Yeah, you got it, opponent. So 64 into 29 is damn near lethal. And they've got the rest of the damage on board. That was a really good game. I spoke a lot of crap about the Mitsurugi cards, and I still largely stand by what I said. But I do think that they are perhaps a little bit more interesting than I thought. They do lead to some dynamic gameplay, even if there is just basically no cost on any of them that is real at all. Technically, there's interaction in the form of the Shark Cannon, but Shark Cannon doesn't seem like the best interaction here. So it's a kind of a toss-up for me. So yeah, that was match 2. I will see you in match 3. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 3 of 3 of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We have won the RPS, and we are putting ourselves on the draw, because once again, that is exactly where Sky Striker wants to be. Opening hand looks pretty powerful, I must say. Opponent's moving to main 1, and let's see what they've got. Special summon Diabellstar by pitching a Foolos. That is fine. What do we think they're playing? Some sort of Azamina brew, I'm sure. But what flavor of Azamina? Yep, they are setting the Deception of the Sinful Spoils, and they will then immediately flip it up. They will activate the effect, tributing off the Diabellstar, and tutor for the Hallowed Azamina, I am sure. Yep, that makes sense. They'll go Hallowed Azamina next to summon the Ilia Sylvia. Oh no, summoning Murecielago. Murecielago will set a Azamina or Sinful Spoils card from deck, or not set, tutor. They will grab Wanted, tutoring for a Diabellstar card. So they're playing White Forest with the new cards? It looks like. Yes, you may do that. That's fine. Opponent is reactivating Hallowed Azamina, pitching Wanted for for Ilia Sylvia. That was an interesting choice, I'm gonna be honest. That was the wrong banish, I take it. They will go banish Wanted to put the Deception on the bottom and draw a card. I have no idea what my opponent is doing. It looks like they kind of are just spinning their wheels to spin their wheels. What the heck is an Armageddon Knight doing here? That is a powerful card for sure. That was what they top decked. Oh, they're playing Orcust. Okay, that makes sense, I suppose. Yep, they'll go for the Orcust Nightmare in order to special summon, or to dump a Harp Horror. They will activate the Harp Horror to E-Telly. That is... Yes, there we go. Opponent is having some issues with the operation of the client, which makes sense. The buttons on here are particularly terrible. They'll summon out the Girsu. Girsu will trigger. They'll mill over a Symbol Skeleton, I'm sure. Yeah, I think I know what's going on. They're playing Orcust, and I know... Oh, they're dumping over a World Wand. I suppose that makes sense. No trigger, so they do not have a World Legacy in hand. Summoning the Galatea, they will activate, trigger Galatea, spinning back Orcust Nightmare in order to set from deck either the Counter Trap or Orchestrated Babel. They will set Babel, flip up the Babel, activate World Wand. That is fine. They will special summon back their Harp Horror. And then from here, I do not know what they are doing. I don't remember exactly what all this deck does. Okay, there's a Dingirsu. Dingirsu special summoned to attach the World Wand to it. They will link off the Dingirsu and the Harp Horror for an IP Masquerena, set 1, and ship the turn on over. Alright, draw for turn. DP standby. Opponent gives us the clear, and now we have to think. I think we are probably, almost certainly, meant to lead on reinforcement of the army. So let's start there. I do not think our opponent will interact here, but on the off chance that they do... Okay, so they're thinking about it. We are going to put Roze in hand. Send off the reinforcement of the army. I believe next we want to go for Sky Striker Ace Raye. Normal summon, declare the effect of Roze. Opponent is fine with all that. And then we need to think here. I believe if we just go for Azalea, that would be perhaps unwise, to say the least. So instead, I think we want to go for Zeke in order to eat the Ilia Sylvia. The question there becomes, do they care to remove it? So we will link these two off, make Sky Striker Ace Zeke, Zeke targeting Ilia Sylvia. Opponent has never read Zeke before in their life. They are thinking about it. I mean, it's an interesting proposition, because on the one hand, Ilia Sylvia is your Omni-Negate, but on the other hand, do you really care that deeply? They are going to activate the Ilia Sylvia. That's fine. That doesn't do much of anything. It's probably the wrong choice. I think here I want to continue thinking. They have Harp Horror to be able to E-Telly for a Orcust monster, so let's threaten End of Main. Do we want to threaten End of Main? Do we want to thrust? I think maybe we want to thrust. Yes, let's go for thrust. So... Okay, so our opponent is going to hit that with the Ash Blossom. That's fine. We do now have 2 spells in the graveyard. We will activate multi-roll. We should have done this first, actually. That was kind of silly. If our opponent responds here, we will then be able to go Hornet Drones for Zeke and special summon the SP Little Knight and target their Orchestrated Babble to banish it. Once again, an interesting proposition for our opponent. They are probably incentivized to remove the multi-roll as quickly as possible, but they also are probably aware that this is on some level bait. Okay, here comes the Harp Horror summoning, oh, once again, Girsu. Yep, Girsu dumping Symbol Skeleton, that makes sense. And then thinking on resolution, I think the question is, yeah, okay. So they'll go for Symbol Skeleton, summoning back Dingirsu. They'll trigger Dingirsu to send our multi-roll to the graveyard. That's fine, because now we go for... Do we go for Engage? Yes. Let's go Engage. See what they want to say about this. They are still thinking here. I think the set card must be some form of interaction. Okay, Engage is going to grab us. Do we want Afterburners? Do we want Widow Anchor? Do we want Shark Cannon? I think we want Widow Anchor. So we'll grab Widow Anchor and draw ourselves a card. Another Widow Anchor. That's really amusing. Let's go... We could go for Kagari to add back the Engage. And then Hornet Drones, summon a token, link them both off for SP Little Knight, SP Banish the Babble. That seems like the best course of action. So we'll go for Kagari. Kagari effect targeting engage. Once again, opponent is thinking here, what could this back row possibly be that they are and disconnected? Hopefully that is not our opponent just leaving and it's just them having issues with dueling book, which are unfortunately quite prevalent, but I wouldn't be shocked if they just left. Well, unfortunately our opponent seems to have just quit the duel, so either they closed dueling book because they didn't want to continue dueling, or they just had connection issues and they took longer than 90 seconds to work through, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I am going to play another match because that did not take very long and was dissatisfying to say the least. So I will see you in the bonus round 4. Hello and welcome to the bonus round 4 of this episode of Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! We are on the draw as we want to be, and our opponent has started on a Maliss P Dormouse. What does this do? You can banish a Maliss monster from your deck? Screw it. We'll infib here. I don't feel like thinking too much. And I don't remember where the choke points for this deck are. I think that lowers their ceiling a little bit, but I could not tell you. And they have Linger Rebo. They will go for the March Hare, banishing the Dormouse to special summon March Hare, triggering the Dormouse, paying 300 in order to special summon it. Yep. Okay, link those two off into Splash Mage. That makes sense. They'll go Splash Mage effect to special summon back the Dormouse. Link off Splash Mage and Dormouse for, I would assume, a white binder, or, nope, red ransom. Red ransom effect. Special summoned tutor for a Maliss spell. I would assume this is grabbing either in Underground or the new Quick Play spell from Alan, both of which are totally reasonable adds here. I think they might go for in Underground because that is the better one to be banishing off of your White Rabbit. So, yep, there is the Maliss in Underground, as expected. From here, we will see what our opponent is up to. Oh, they are just activating Maliss in Underground. I am always happy to see Maliss in Underground being activated. They'll banish the White Rabbit, lose 300 to special summon the White Rabbit. They'll go White Rabbit effect in order to set a Maliss trap from their deck. They will set, I would assume, GWC here. Yep, they set the GWC, and then they will assume they will activate the GWC, banishing the Red Ransom in order to special summon one of their Maliss monsters from the graveyard. Looks like they're linking off first into a copy of Cyber's Wick Kid. That's interesting. They'll activate GWC. GWC will revive a Dormouse. They will trigger the Red Ransom, paying 900 to special summon it, and then they will banish a Cybers from deck. So they'll banish a March Hare. Are they? Yes, they are banishing a Cybers from deck, just doing everything that they needed out of the graveyard while they were there, so they don't have to keep digging through the deck as frequently. They will banish the Maliss P Chessy Cat. They will activate the Chessy Cat effect, pay 300 to special summon it. And then I assume they have a Maliss card in hand to banish to the Chessy Cat in order to draw. Oh, yes, they will have the March Hare to banish if that is what they are looking for. Why'd they gain 200? I can't tell. I don't think it matters very much. They will link all of those off for Maliss Q Hearts Cryptor, and then link off both Cryptor and Wicked into Whitebinder. They will Whitebinder to banish the Dormouse, and I would assume the Hearts Cryptor, along with potentially one other card, but I don't know what. Looks like they're banishing the Chessy Cat. So they will trigger the Hearts Cryptor to special summon it, and I don't know what they do from there. That might be the end of their turn, but I don't know. You can pay, during your main phase, you can set a Malice Traps, resetting GWC to be able to revive Red Ransom and trigger Whitebinder on their turn. They'll special summon backup Ignister to tutor for a Cybers monster, then discard a card. They'll grab Wizard at Ignister, pitching an Ash Blossom. Then they will special summon the Wizard at Ignister, or they'll just lead on Hearts Cryptor to banish the Whitebinder. They will pay the 900 to special summon back the Whitebinder and draw a card. Makes sense. So then from here, do they summon the Wizard at Ignister? Nope, they are linking all three off into Allied Code Talker at Ignister. They will trigger that to special summon a bunch of monsters out of their graveyard. And then they get back Red Ransom, Whitebinder, but not Hearts Cryptor because that thing has 2500 attack. They will set one and they will pass the turn. Alright, draw for turn. Raye is really powerful. We will go to our main phase. And alright, let's think. Well, I think I want to start with Cosmicing their back row. I'm pretty sure that they set that. When did they... Nah, that's the GWC. Right. Well, I would like to force them to shotgun the GWC, so we will do this. So either they shotgun the GWC and don't get nearly as much value out of it, or this gets banished and they don't get any value out of it. Okay, so they are chaining the GWC. GWC is fine. They will special summon back the Hearts Cryptor. Then GWC will be banished, and Cosmic will go to the graveyard. This says, if I can target one of your banished Maliss, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, shuffle a banish one card on the field. So, okay, we will go for an Upstart Goblin. I hate to give our opponent life points here, but we do what we have to. So we will draw a card. Ooh, Thrust is very powerful here. Let's go for it. Activate Thrust and see what our opponent has to say about this. They are going to Ash Blossom the Thrust. Your opponent activates a card or effect. Quick effect, you can tribute one of your link monsters, negate the activation if you do banish that card. Alright. We will normal summon the Sky Striker Ace Raye and let our opponent determine what they are doing. They will shuffle with Hearts Cryptor, so we will then chain Raye. Okay, Raye is going to special summon out the Kaina, because that doesn't matter. We'll banish the Kaina, and that will trigger the Raye. This is probably going to get negated. No, it does not. Okay. So we will special summon back the Sky Striker Ace Raye. And then, from here, do they have interaction on their graveyard? I don't think they do. They could special summon back the Lingaribo, but I don't think they will, because that would require getting rid of Code Talker. We will link the Raye off for Hayate, and attempt to go end of main. Our opponent has Maliss P March Hare. This thing is a quick effect? Yeah, that's fine. They will banish a Maliss card from their hand or graveyard, because why would we have real costs attached to things? They will trigger the Maliss P White Rabbit to special summon. They will set a Maliss trap from their deck. This is going to be something yucky. MTP07. They're going to do that. Yeah, we can scoop here. Let's move on to game 2. That wasn't even close. We're going to bring in the Artifact Lancias. We're going to bring in the Dominus Impulses. And I believe that's all we want. We can't do any... Dimensional Barrier doesn't help. DDG doesn't help. Shared Ride doesn't help. Well, TDG is not terrible. Counterintuitively, we're going to get rid of these. And we need one more cut. We'll lose a droplet. I think we'll swap the other droplet. No. Yeah, we'll do it like this. And ship it on back. Alright, we will be on the play this time. Because in spite of usually wanting to go second, this deck is so heinously broken that I believe that this is what we need to be doing. We will lead on Rhoda, tutor for Sky Striker Ace Raye. We'll summon, add Raye, go A, and they've got a Droll and Lockbird. That's rather unfortunate. However, we are going to hand loop our opponent. What do we put back? I think we want to put back Chessy Cat. Yes, so they've got Droll, March Hare, Triple Tack in hand. We'll have to remember that. We will normal summon the Raye, link the Raye off for a... Do we want to link Raye off? I think we kind of have to. We will link Raye off for kinda, because it doesn't matter. We will set 1, set 2, and pass the turn. So opponent's got March Hare, Triple Tack, Droll, and one unknown. If they top deck a Maliss card, they are a Maliss monster, they're in business. Otherwise, they're not. Okay. Well, that is certainly something we can work with. Go SP, standby, main. Okay, we've got a Hornet Drones, which we could activate, summon Zeke for no effect to be able to engage for full value. Is that worth it? Well, our Hornet Drones isn't getting any better, so do that. Yep, we'll do Hornet Drones. Hornet Drones, special summon a token. We will link these both off for Zeke. And then we will go for Engage. Engage is going to grab us another copy of Linkage and draw us a card, and they are going to Droll and Lockbird. Yep, exactly as expected. They've got March Hare, one unknown, and a Triple Tack. I'm assuming the set card is Triple Tack, just based entirely on vibes. Do we want to link off this Zeke? I think the answer to that question is no, so we are going to go to end main. Move to combat, punch directly with Zeke, activate linkage, send away the Zeke, and special summon a Hayate. This should tell the opponent that they are in grave danger. We will trigger the Hayate to mill over the Roze. Yep. We will dump Roze. We will go Linkage to send away the Hayate to special summon a Kagari. Send away the Hayate, special summon Kagari. Trigger the Kagari, target the Linkage. Add back the Linkage. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be a total of 3,000 on that one. So another 1,500 off of the Kagari. Spells plus 5 spells plus Linkage boost. Are they? Okay. So then we will go Linkage to send away the Kagari to special summon the Shijuku, which will also have 2,500 attack, well, which will have 2,500 attack, and punch in for well over lethal. They are going to called by the Raye. Okay. So Kagari will go away. We will summon the Shizuku. This will go. We do not have... We do... There is still a light and dark, so 2,500 direct. Our opponent did not quite read Linkage correctly. They should have banished the Roze out of our graveyard, then we would not have had a light and dark monster in our graveyard, and we would not have been able to OTK them. Okay, this is where things are going to get really spicy once again, because we are on the draw. I need to somehow side in 6 cards. I think we are fine to entirely lose Shark Cannon. We can thin a Widow Anchor. We don't need multi-roll. We can thin on upstarts. Let's actually keep the multi-roll and thin the last upstart. Swap cards. Is there any way to get this last Widow Anchor back in that doesn't feel like we're shaving on something important? We could lose Called by the Grave, but I don't think that's the correct choice, because they do play well, actually, I think that Widow Anchor is going to be more impactful than Called by the Grave here. And let's see. Yep, opponent is putting us on the draw. Let's see, what do we open? This hand is almost exactly the same as the opening hand from the first game. So we'll see if we can do anything. We don't have Imperm to slow them down in any way, shape, or form. We are kind of just hoping that they didn't open particularly well. Opponent is going to normal summon Droll and Lockbird. Okay. They will link off the Droll and Lockbird for Almirage. And do they have... They do have the backup at Ignister. That is tragically fine. This is going to tutor them Dormouse, or White Rabbit, rather, which gets them into the entire combo. Discarding the White Rabbit, linking both off. They'll go for Splash Mage, special summon back the White Rabbit trigger to banish, or to set a normal trap from their graveyard. We are in trouble for sure here. They'll link both of those off for the Red Ransom. They did not trigger the White Rabbit, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they did that. They'll go for Maliss and Underground to banish the Dormouse from deck. They'll trigger the Dormouse to special summon the Dormouse. And we will continue on from there. They'll trigger the effect of the Dormouse in order to banish from their deck another Maliss monster. They're probably banishing the Chessie Cat. Nope, banishing White Rabbit. They will trigger the effect of the White Rabbit to special summon. White Rabbit will then set a Maliss trap from their deck. I'm not sure why they did it in that order. They probably could have gotten another extender into rotation if they had done that differently, but I do not know what their hand looks like. They're adding an MTP07, which is good news for us because it means they do not have as much extension as they would like to, because they will be banishing their Red Ransom to tutor for a card rather than to special summon one of their Maliss monsters from the graveyard, or banishment. They'll activate MTP07, banishing the Red Ransom in order to tutor. They will tutor for the March Hare, trigger the effect of the Red Ransom, paying 900 in order to special summon it back. They will then banish the Chessy Cat from there. That makes sense. They'll special summon they'll pay the 300, special summon the Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat banish the March Hare in order to draw 2 cards. March Hare will trigger to add itself back to their hand, and they will be up to a full grip of a 6 after this sequence, despite having unequivocally a terrible starting hand. Having to go through Droll and Lockbird as your starter is not where you want to be. I am quite sure. They'll go for the Terraforming tutor for Maliss and Underground, just to get the card out of deck. They will then probably link off into White Binder. I'm not sure, though. They might be just going for Heart's Cryptor. It depends on whether or not they drew substantial amounts of extension from here. They will link those 3 off for the Heart's Cryptor. They will then what? Where do you go from here? They will special summon the March Hare by banishing Dormouse from their graveyard. Link off the March Hare and the Heart's Cryptor and the Red Ransom into White Binder. Trigger the effect of the White Binder to banish up to 3 cards from the graveyards. Banishing Heart's Cryptor, White Rabbit, and it looks like that's all they're interested in banishing. They will pay 900 in order to special summon back the Heart's Cryptor. And from here, they do have quite a bit of link material. I do not remember what the material requirements for Acode Talker are, but if they have that as an option, they might go for that. Otherwise, they might just set some cards and ship it on back to us. Again, depends entirely on what their hand does and what lines they're thinking of. I do not play Maliss. I find the deck to be exceedingly boring, despite the fact I would really love to enjoy the deck. The art style is truly one that makes me happy. But alas, not every archetype which contains cute, well-made art can be someone's favorite. I will stick to the Sky Striker Aces and Live Twins. They are then going to activate the effect of the White Binder to reset the MTP07. Makes sense. Don't want to cycle that. They are going to activate GWC06. So our opponent just had everything this game. Drew into exactly what they needed to. Drawing the GWC, which they only play 1 copy of, is insane. They will pay the 900 to special summon back the White Binder and draw another card. And so the show continues. They have 5 cards in hand. This deck just balloons card advantage like nobody else. They will summon Acode Talker. Acode Talker will trigger in order to special summon back the Red Ransom and White Binder. And from here, the world is sort of their oyster. Alright, it is back to us. The set card is, in fact, a Maliss Trap. It is the MTP07. So we do not want to go too hard in on this. Let's see. Okay, the Hornet drones means that I can, in fact, pitch Raye to this Forbidden Droplet. Does this have a quick effect? No. Does this have a quick effect? Also no. What they do have access to is they can activate to tutor to summon to trigger the Jessie Cat to banish from their graveyard the Heart Scriptor to special summon the Heart Scriptor to continue to eat our stuff. That is going to have to be alright. So we will go Forbidden Droplet, ditch Raye. Okay, we will negate the effects of the Echoed Talker at Ignister. And then we will go for a Mecha Hornet drones to summon out a token. The token will then be linked off into Hayate. Hayate will be turned into a copy, will be used to mill over a copy. Oh, you have a, they might have a thing on the summon the token. Yeah, they're thinking here. I mean, there's interesting things to be done here. It is important for them to remove the token as soon as they are able to. Okay, so we will go for this Hayate, and we will attempt to end the main phase. We will, okay, go combat, punch for 15. Opponent is presumably just going to take the 15. Yep. We will trigger the Hayate in order to mill over an Engage. They're gonna Echoed Talker. Do they not remember that it's negated with Maliss and Underground? Or with Forbidden Droplet? Or am I being a little bit silly and missing something? Okay, so they did just want to banish the White Binder in order to, or they wanted to put the White Binder in the graveyard. We'll mill over Engage, we'll go to the second main. We will link Hayate into Kugari, unless our opponent has something to say about it. Do they have something? Nope, they are just slow rolling us a little bit. We will go for the Kugari to target the Engage to add the Engage back to hand. Yep. Engage back in hand. They did, however, activate Echoed Talker at Ignister, so we do get to activate Triple Tactics Thrust here, which is probably not where our opponent wanted to put themselves. This Thrust is going to grab us another Engage, because why would we say no to drawing an extra card? They do have to think pretty seriously here, because they have to decide, is this where they're going to White Binder? Is this where they're going to place their Ash Blossom? What exactly are they doing? What bombs am I running? But yes, this Thrust is just getting us Engage, and Engage will get us another copy of, or will get us a copy of Afterburners to pop the Echoed Talker, so I don't have to continue to deal with that. Being able to tutor for Engage is a little bit nasty. Do they have the Droll and Lockbird on Resolution? Nope, they're going to go MTP07. That is fine. MTP07 is going to tutor them a March Hare, and then on resolution of this, they're going to... So then I have a Raye trigger. We will summon back the Raye, and we will once again link off the Raye, summon Shizuku. And then on resolution, they are going to go for March Hare. March Hare is going to banish the White Binder from their graveyard in order to special summon it. They'll trigger the White Binder to special summon itself back and draw a card, and then they will trigger the White Binder to banish 3 spells out of our graveyard, thus turning off the extra draw of Engage. They will draw a card, trigger the White Binder, presumably targeting all 3 spells, but nope, they're going for Heart's Cryptor, Raye, and Hornet Drones. This is an interesting set of ones to go for. So, yes, that's fine. Would you like to trigger your Heart's Cryptor? I don't have any triggers left on. They will go for the Heart's Cryptor to special summon it. The Heart's Cryptor. Okay, they're doing nothing from here. We've got 2 spells in graveyard because our opponent decided to get rid of our Raye. So we can pay 1,000 to put another spell in our graveyard and get rid of the Maliss in Underground, which probably doesn't matter except for maybe fueling Heart's Cryptor a little bit more powerfully, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we do get the bonus text on Engage to be able to continue to draw cards. We'll activate Engage to tutor for a Afterburners. Afterburners will pop the Echoed Talker at Ignister. Yep, we'll grab Afterburners, draw a card, and then we will go once again for Engage. We should have grabbed Widow Anchor instead of Afterburners. They are going to Ash Blossom the second Engage, which is an interesting choice. I'm not really sure what that's all about. We'll go Afterburners to pop their Echoed Talker, and we will continue from there. Do I want to set linkage? I think we do. There's no reason to continue to go into the extra deck. We've already gone through everything of relevance. So, yep, we're just going to go linkage and droplet set, and we will go end main. They let us get to the end phase. We will trigger the effect of the Shizuku. Shizuku is going to grab us a Widow Anchor or a multi-roll. I'm not sure which. Undecided. Both of them seem like reasonable adds, but Widow Anchor does mean that they cannot Heart's Cryptor this turn. Okay, after considerable delay, our opponent has finally signaled that we are okay to tutor. I do believe that we want the Widow Anchor here, and then we will attempt to pass the turn. If they go for the Heart's Cryptor, they're going to target a banished Maliss card. That does not shuffle for cost. We are going to target the Heart's Cryptor. They will have to banish the Dormouse from their deck, again, because they were being a little bit antsy. We literally added this card this turn. You just saw that. Opponent does not have anything else going on in their graveyard, so hopefully we can survive this turn. If we survive this turn, we might be fine, but it's hard to say. With no Engage, no clear route to Raye, no clear route to any of that, really. They'll go for White Binder. White Binder will reset the MTP 07. Assuming they will activate MTP, banishing Heart's Cryptor. Yeah, they're going to spin back March Hare in order to, or not March Hare, spin back Dormouse to banish, and they hit Droplet. That's unfortunate. Well, if they decide to go for a big access code talker, we do have some recourse for that. They will go for white binder. Interesting that they would put it in the same column as one of my back row when they don't have to do that. They'll add the Dormouse, and that will banish the linkage, because I'm not paying attention, and these cards do not target. Because why would they? They'll special summon back the white binder, draw a card, trigger the white binder, not trigger the white binder to banish cards out of the graveyard. They'll go for an access code talker, and that will be all she wrote. Rather unfortunate. Well, that was a bit of a rough one, wasn't it? I overall did enjoy how the deck played. It felt like it was pretty moldable in my hands. It felt like I was doing exactly what I wanted to be doing the entire time. It just sort of fell short in a couple of places. I think the format might be a little bit too fast for Striker. It's definitely way too focused on exactly turn one for both players. So blinding second isn't as effective as it once was, and you really do need the hand traps. Only having access to the one imperm in the main just isn't going to cut it. You can't get away with doing something like that as the format currently stands, so I'd probably thin out the upstarts, possibly get rid of the Cosmics, although they felt really nice in these games, and either the Droplets, the Dusters, or the Lightning Storms, or the Raigekis, to put in a bunch of hand traps. Maybe thin down the Striker package to put some more hand traps in, but overall it felt alright. This Shared Ride definitely should have been a mistake and a rest. With no hand traps in your deck, putting Shared Ride in your deck is absolutely just a mistake, and that was a mistake I made, so that was a little bit dumb. Different Dimension Ground didn't ever end up coming up for us, but we also didn't play against anything that I thought it would be useful against. But other than that, I think this showed just how difficult and skill-intensive and format knowledge-dependent Sky Striker is. Because in the games where I felt like I knew what I was doing, I knew what the opponent was up to, I could interact way more effectively. But as soon as I didn't know what my opponent was doing, I lost the game by so much. It wasn't even close. But, you know, that's how that goes. That's how the games go. So, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Remember to please like if you got this far, subscribe for updates, comment what you liked or didn't like about what you saw, and do what you can to support me and boost the algorithm. It helps a lot more than you think. And if you'd like to support me financially or continue to chat with me more directly, there are links for both of those things in the description. Toodles!